Throughout the first month or so of the 2022 NFL season, there are few teams in the league that can say that they have been as entertaining to watch as the Detroit Lions. The good news, this team is set up for offensive success for years to come. The weapons have been amazing. TJ Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and don't forget Jameson Williams waiting in the wings. Not to mention, this team has possibly the best offensive line in the NFL. Absolutely amazing performance thus far. Now the bad news, these guys have had to step up because for as just as good as they are, the defense is just as bad, if not worse. 32nd in the league at the time that I'm recording this, and I don't know that I see a scenario in which they finish better than that. They have been god-awful. It's been disgusting to watch, but it has led to some exciting football games. So that being said, we're going to need a whole new defense. It's Madden, so despite how well Jared Goff has played, we will need a new quarterback. So the recipe for a very fun and exciting rebuild is there. Let's get into it. Now, before we get into this, Dan Campbell and I would just like to take a quick second to thank you for clicking on the link to watch this video. We appreciate your support. If you could, drop a comment, let us know. Who do you want to see rebuilt next time? Who should we lead to glory? Get them to a Super Bowl? Drop a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Would mean the world to me as I'm slowly trying to work my way to my first 1,000 followers. Let's get into it. Now, we are starting things off with real-life rosters, and with the way Madden is set up, the latest it will let us start is Week 1. So, unfortunately, we have no way to account for the first few weeks of football. Those results very well may differ from what you've seen in real life. That being said, let's take a quick look at our opening roster. Starting things off with the quarterback position, Jared Goff is not the answer long-term. Mentioned this, but he has played very well in real life. Definitely better than what people expected. However, 27 years old, 72 overall, just not going to cut it. At the running back position, DeAndre Swift, just 23 years old, 80 overall. Love that long-term to build around. Jamal Williams has played well, but as far as Sim is concerned, just not going to make a major impact for us. At the receiver position, DJ Chark, surprisingly just 25 years old. I would have guessed a little bit older than that, 79 overall. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been incredible. Enough said about him. 22 years old, 78 overall. You've got Jameson Williams, just 21 years old, 78 overall with 98 speed. Outside of that, you've got Quintez Cephas, Josh Reynolds, and Khalif Raymond. At the tight end position, TJ Hawkinson, 25 years old, 89 overall, good player for us to build around. Not a whole lot going on outside of that. Left tackle, Taylor Decker, solid player. Possibly look to move on from him, though. Starting to get up there in age, we'll see. Jonah Jackson, solid left guard, just 25 years old. At the center position, Frank Ragnow, one of the best in the league, 26 years old, 87 overall. Right guard position, I am going to completely butcher this name, Halapalutivati Vaitai. I think I was somewhat close. Definitely going to want to replace him. 29 years old, just 70 overall. Not good. And you've got Penei Sewell, absolute stud. Second-year player, right tackle. 21 years old, 80 overall, superstar dev. Franchise cornerstone for us, enough said. At the defensive spots, you've got Charles Harris at defensive end, nothing else outside of that on the left side. Right side, Romeo Okwara is getting up there in age. You do have Aiden Hutchinson. With how poorly this defense has played, let me know in the comments, Lions fans, has Aiden Hutchinson done anything this year so far? I have not heard his name. Again, though, not a Lions fan, and it's not as if they get many nationally televised games. We are going to add Okwara to the trade block because he is getting up there in age and he's just frankly not good. DTs are a mess. You've got Michael Brockers, Ali McNeil, I think we could build around. Second-year guy, possibly see if we can get something out of him. I'll have to look and see what scheme the Lions run. Josh Woods is disgustingly bad. Alex Anzalone is not good. Malcolm Rodriguez, also not good. The linebackers are bad. In the secondary, you've got Mike Hughes, 25 years old, 79 overall. Amani Oruwari, I believe. Forgive me. Jeff Okudah, possibly still some hope, entering his third year, 73 overall. I think he actually has played decently well this year, especially against the Eagles Week 1. I think he locked up Devontae Smith. Have him on my fantasy team, and I think he had 0 catches that game. At the free safety spot, Tracy Walker, he's fine, I guess. Strong safety position is Deshaun Elliott and Kirby Joseph. Now, Kirby Joseph, 21 years old, 67 overall rookie. Maybe developable, maybe not. We'll see, but that's your roster. Now, the defense is a 3-4, and I typically prefer a 4-3. We don't have the linebackers to run a 3-4 right now. It would be awful. I know we're not going to be great as a 4-3, but we are going to transition over to that. Also, on the offensive side of the ball, we're switching up the playbooks. I prefer Bengals. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys have a different playbook that's been working well for you? Bengals does great with the passing volume, so I would like to work on developing guys like Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams. So that's what we're going to work on right there. And with all of that out of the way, let's get to the midseason point. We will sim there, see how the team's looking record-wise, see whose contracts might be up, who's ready to negotiate. My guess is 2-5, but we'll see. Okay, so just about spot on. We are actually 1-5, so maybe against the Dolphins this week is when we get that second win. We'll have to see. However, let's look and see whose contracts are up. Okay, so poised to enter the offseason with around $57 million in cap space. Not a ton. I would like to see a little bit more than that. Have to imagine a good chunk is tied up in Jared Goff. Jack Fox, I know he's just a punter, but 26, superstar dev. We will get him back. Deshaun Elliott, he has no interest in us. That is unfortunate. He's a solid player. Mike Hughes, not really interested. DJ Shark is going to be a no. Just because I like who we have behind him, and I think we could definitely get a third receiver fairly easily. Jamal Williams is not going to be it for me. We can do better at kicker. I don't know that we necessarily need to bring any of these guys back. My first year or two, I tend to kind of tear things down. So, I mean, none of these guys are going to be overly missed, especially not on a team that's 1-5 right now. And we do have some offers here for Romeo Okwara. Now, the Packers, I actually don't mind this deal. Rasul Douglas, Josh DeGora, who is, I mean, he's not going to be anything for us, but Rasul Douglas, I like that. So let's go ahead and accept that offer here. Get ourselves a corner. Anyways, it's a 1-5 start to the year. We always turn it around in the second half. I'm going to say 4-13. A 4-13 finish and a top 5 pick. Let's get to the playoffs and see what happens. Okay, and I've got to say, I am shocked. How does this happen? We went 9-8, and we made the playoffs as a wild card team. Let's look at the schedule. I mean, I got to show you guys. I'm not lying. I'm not cheating. I genuinely am shocked right now. So here it is, regular season schedule, nothing simmed, nothing played. Here are all those losses with that one win against the Seahawks, who are probably not very good this year. And then we pick things up at the bye week. We lost 2 more against the Dolphins and the Packers. And then look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight wins. Get shut out by the Panthers for some reason, and then win 2 straight, including a 48-29 victory against the Packers to make the playoffs. Absolutely shocking. And here are your stats. 12th offense in the NFL. How did the defense perform? 29th. So honestly, not far off from real life. And you look at Goff's numbers here, 5,200 yards, 46 touchdowns, 19 picks. What did I say about that Bengals playbook? Insane, bro. In the run game, you're never going to have great running back numbers. We could do better than DeAndre Swift's 870 with 8 touchdowns. Just 3.7 a carry. Don't love that. Although the right guard spot we know is a mess. In the receiving game, Amon-Ra, 1,200 yards, 11 scores. Jameson, as a rookie, 1,200 with 12. Hawkinson hits 1,000 yards. DJ Shark, also 1,000 yards. 12 touchdowns. So you have 4 receivers topping 1,000 yards. That is absolutely crazy. And 3 of them go over 10 touchdowns. Blocking. Who allowed sacks? Anything 10 and under is good. Penei Sewell let up 18. Don't love that, but that's okay. Taylor Decker lets up 10, which is usually pretty solid for a left tackle, especially with how often we're passing the ball. Looking at the sacks here, Aiden Hutchinson, the rookie, has 8. Not bad, considering the lack of talent around him. Alex Anzalone with 8 interceptions, very surprising. 5 for Chris Board and 5 for Awarie. So we were turning the ball over. I would have to imagine that's what led to some of these victories, and there you have it. And you don't see this every day. Jared Goff coming in at 5th in the MVP voting. Did we win Coach of the Year? I mean, you deserve some consideration. You start the year, 1-6, and you make the playoffs, 9-8 with a team that bad. Dan Campbell, I mean, regardless of record, he deserves a higher spot. Don't give it to Mike McCarthy. We all know Mike McCarthy should never win Coach of the Year. Did we get any votes for anything? Alex Anzalone comes in second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. That's crazy. Jameson Williams wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. That is great. He should go up in Dev Trade, I would imagine. Aiden Hutchinson comes in third for Defensive Rookie. Best QB, Goff coming in at third. Best running back, I am going to doubt it. Swift comes in at 9. Best receiver, we get some votes with Jameson and Amon-Ra. Very nice. Best O-line, do we have any guys on the list? We do not. Best D-line. Let's just look at the winners here. Best linebacker. Anzalone, I would expect to see him higher. Amani Oruwariye gets best DB. Very nice. Best kicker. Okay. Those are your awards. And here we are, wild card round, going on the road to Dallas. Got to face off with the 13-4 Cowboys. I'm not expecting a victory here by any means, but could you imagine? This would be a massive shock. Yeah, we lose 42-23, as expected. And here are your results. Let's take a quick look at our game here, see how the loss came to be. We actually outgained them in total yards. Dak has a pretty solid game, passer rating over 100. Goff throws for 363, a touchdown. He does get picked off 3 times, sacked 5 times, so not a great game for him by any means. Zeke scores. Swift and Williams both find the end zone. Dak, Tony Pollard, and Cullen Gillaspia, forgive me, I'm sure I mispronounced that. They all score. CeeDee's over 100 with a receiving score. Amon-Ra finds the end zone over 100 yards. Over 100 yards for Jameson Williams, still having a great rookie year. Dalton Schultz scores. Defensively, our leading tackler, Chris Board. Did we sack Dak? I don't think so. If we did, it wasn't much. Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil, they both get him. So, okay, encouraging from our young guys. I don't know if we had any interceptions. We did. One from Tracy Walker, and that's your first playoff game of the series. And here is your end-of-season recap as the Kansas City Chiefs do it again over the 49ers. 49-28, Mahomes wins Super Bowl MVP. Looks like a very easy victory. Just great offensive performance on their end. Here are your yearly awards as Dak wins MVP. Mike McCarthy wins Coach of the Year. Zeke wins Offensive Player of the Year. So the Cowboys, they sweep those regular season awards. Just does not translate to playoff success per usual. And there is Jameson with his Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Very nice. Let's move on to the offseason. Okay, so last chance to try and bring these guys back. Deshaun Elliott, he actually does have a little bit more interest in us. If we get him on a player-friendly deal, his cap hit would just be around $6 million. And it would save us from having to worry about that position. The defense is already so thin. Jack Fox, can we secure the punter position? Player friendly, will this do it? He's not interested. That's fine. He can hit free agency. Punter is not the end of the world for us. Mike Hughes, he's not really interested in us. That's fine. We're not really interested in him. DJ Shark, I just don't really care to extend a deal to. We've got needs elsewhere. Amani played well for us, but he's 27 already. Jamal Williams, no thank you. Anzalone outplayed his overall, but he can't stand us. That's fine. Austin Seibert's a no. So yeah, let's get into free agency. Maybe we can offload Goff's contract, get ourselves a little bit more money, but still $56 million. We've got some to play around with. And coming off a season in which he was second in the league in passing yards, I feel this is a fair deal for Jared Goff. We send him to the Giants for a third-round pick. Daniel Jones is just a 69 overall, so Goff should come in and start right away, assuming they don't go quarterback. We can't account for that. But put him in a Brian Dable offense, he could do great things. Would love to see it. And Michael Brockers, last year of his contract, down to, I believe, a 74 overall. Cutting him will free $10 million in cap, incur a penalty of around 2. We're going to go ahead and do that, free up some space. Okay, so free agency is here. It is a bit of an underwhelming class, and to be completely honest, not a lot of guys have interest in us right this second. The main reason for that is we don't have a franchise quarterback, which we will try to address in this year's draft, hopefully. That being said, here is who we're going after. Tremaine Edmonds. He's the only player we're not offering a neutral deal to. We are going to go player friendly because I would really like to get him in here. Currently top of his list. Outside of that, we've got Kaiser White. Nate Davis, Greedy Williams, and Darius Slayton. Kind of round out some holes on our team. No one too exciting, just something to kind of build a foundation as we focus on hitting the draft. And we hit on all 5 guys. So adding some impact players for sure. No game changers, but still, these are the types of moves you've got to make. Okay, now here is an updated look at the roster. Of course, Tim Boyle, that's not going to do it for us. We're going to hit the draft there. But offensively, I like what we've got. We now have a right guard. Jamison Williams is up to superstar dev, our wide receiver 1. Very nice. Darius Slayton helps to round out that core. He should provide a good option for us. I like what we have here. Defensively, still kind of a mess. However, we did address 2 linebacker spots, Tremaine Edmonds and Kaiser White, so I think we're okay there. The safety position, not super exciting. The defensive line is still a mess, although Aiden Hutchinson develops nicely up to an 82 and superstar dev. We did add Greedy Williams, so the corners are passable for now. But yeah, let's get into the draft, see how we're looking. So we're actually going to try something different this time around. Gots Bling has a 2023 NFL draft class. I'm going to go ahead and download this because I noticed, if you guys have seen my most recent rebuild that I did of the Carolina Panthers, the draft class was exactly the same, which is unfortunate. Now, I'm going into this somewhat blind. I'm not a big NFL draft guy. I'm not going to know the most about these players outside of the top few guys, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, guys who I highly doubt fall to us. So it should make for an interesting draft class. And before we get into the draft, I'm just going to go second wave of free agency, make just a few depth signings, just guys to kind of fill out the team a little bit more. We need a punter, so let's get Blake Gilkin, Dean Lowry, just to give us a body on the defensive line. Austin Johnson, same deal. We desperately need DTs. And Gardner Minshew, just so we have something at quarterback. I mean, I know he's, by Madden standards, trash, but we got to get ourselves something here, especially if we're not in position to get ourselves a quarterback. So that's what we're going to do. And I believe we do lock down every single one of these guys. Yes. So, yeah, not a bad free agency. Still leaves us with around $20 million in cap. So let's get into the draft. All right, so here we are, 2023 NFL Draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers are picking first overall. Bit of a surprise there. Who do they go with number 1? I doubt quarterback. I would hope not for the sake of realism. No, they go with a left tackle, Paris Johnson Jr. Wow, could you imagine? Shocker pick there. Now we've got Seattle. Seattle, I would have to imagine, goes quarterback. I'd be very surprised if not. Is this CJ Stroud maybe? It is Myles Murphy. Quarterbacks are still on the board. Next up are the Jets. Now, here's an interesting position. We pick 12th. The Jets are on the clock. They've got Zach Wilson. Next up, you've got the Bears, Texans, Vikings, Giants. All teams that could theoretically go quarterback. Do we try and trade up here? Let's see if it's worth it. Okay, and look at that. Honestly, I feel this is a fair deal for us. A first in this year's draft, so number 12 overall. Jets are going to move back 9 spots. They pick up our first round pick next year, and we are now on the board. Let's go get ourselves a quarterback. Now, as I said, I don't know a lot about college football. I just don't particularly care for it as much as I do the NFL. That being said, I know that CJ Stroud has been amazing this year. I actually come from an Ohio State family. Not to mention, if the Bears continue to work with Justin Fields, you've got an Ohio State quarterback battle twice a year. This would be so much fun. Let's get CJ Stroud in here. Hidden dev, as expected, 93 foot throw power. Welcome to Detroit, CJ Stroud. This is the new face of the franchise right here. Amazing. We are excited for this. And before I get to our next pick, just out of curiosity, who do the Bears go with? Do they stick with Justin Fields? Where does Bryce Young go? They go Will Anderson. So yeah, it's going to be Fields and Stroud twice a year for the foreseeable future. Texans, do they go quarterback? No, Bryce Young continues to fall. Who do the Vikings go with? There he goes. Wow, so we get Bryce Young twice a year. We're going to see really quick, did we make the right decision on Stroud? Because the Vikings, they got themselves a good one. I know Bryce Young has been great as well. Love him as a prospect, so very interesting. The Giants, who do they go with? Really quick before we get to our next pick, they go Noah Sewell, so they go middle linebacker. Let's move on to our next selection. Now we are on the clock again. Earlier than I expected. I do not remember how Detroit picked up this additional first round pick. If I recall correctly, it was from trading back with the Vikings. Let me know in the comments. I am genuinely curious. How did we get 2 first round picks? Because I don't remember. That being said, we lost our first round pick next year. I don't really love anyone on the board right this second. We really need DT. There just aren't any great ones available to us. So Las Vegas is offering us a first to next year's draft. We could get a first round pick back and a second and a 6. We're going to go ahead and take that. Okay, so back on the clock, mid-second round, round 2, pick 19. We've got Nathan Pickering here, who I have never heard of. Let me know, is this guy good? We're going to find out here real quick. He did put up 37 reps on the bench. We desperately need a DT. I don't hate this selection, but I would like to love it. He's got normal dev. Okay. Could be a lot worse, but we got ourselves a DT, at least someone back there. Okay, so third round here, pick 7. I know we're okay at wide receiver. I like what we've got, but look at Josh Downs. 22 out of USC, and not only that, he ran a 4.29 40. Absolutely insane. The agility looks good too. Could he come in and supplant Darius Slayton and be our wide receiver 3? I think he's got a good chance. He does have hidden dev. Very nice. 95 speed with 94 excel. I like this a lot. Our offense has got some serious firepower. All right, so picking again in the third round, we need a running back. We lost Jamal Williams. Here we've got Zach Charbonnet. Let me know if I pronounced that correctly. I don't know. 22 out of UCLA. He's a power back, so he fits that Jamal Williams type build. Very strong. 29 reps on the bench. So let's go ahead and take him here. Normal dev, but gives us a nice backup running back, a good option behind Swift. I'm not mad about that. Here we are, fourth round. It's going to be the last pick that I make, and obviously a massive reach, but we could use a fullback. I don't know whether they help in sim. Monty Pottebaum, love the name, Monty Pottebaum, is best in the class, it looks like. Elite in every single category amongst fullbacks. Maybe we get ourselves a Kyle Juszczyk here, or a Patrick Ricard. I mean, for a fourth round pick, you could do a lot worse than that. We at least fill a position there, and we're going to let the CPU take over for the remainder of the draft. And with that being said, here is your 2023 NFL Draft recap. So CJ Stroud is coming into the league 77 overall right off the bat. Very good. He should be great for us. I'm very excited to see what he can do. Franchise quarterback, let's go. Nathan Pickering, he's coming in at a 71 overall. Don't love that. Maybe we can develop him. I'm hopeful. Josh Downs is also a little bit lower, 70 overall. However, speed kills. Zach Charbonnet, a 71, can do a lot worse for your backup running back. Monty Pottebaum, a 74 overall fullback. I don't know how useful he'll be, but we will certainly accept that. And then the CPU rounds out some positions for us, just gets us some depth pieces. So yeah, all in all, we're happy with the draft class. And here we are, 2023 NFL season, week 1. Let's take a look at that opening roster. And starting with the offensive side of the ball, it actually is an 85 overall offense. So CJ Stroud is coming into a great situation as a rookie. He's got the weapons. He's got a good running back. He's got a great offensive line. Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra. Downs is going to get the start as a rookie in 3 receiver sets. Pottebaum, maybe he does something for us. That would be amazing. I would love to see that. So yeah, big hopes for the offense. Praying CJ Stroud can earn himself Offensive Rookie of the Year. Maybe get Superstar Dev. Even X Factor would be incredible. Defensively, it's still definitely a work in progress. Very much a work in progress. Pickering, I think we give him the start. We're going to move up Aleem McNeil. He is going to be our DT1. And let's see, Pickering, it's going to be sink or swim in the NFL. No, not DT1. He's DT2. So maybe we get something out of him. Maybe he's a diamond in the rough. But outside of that, not a whole lot else going on immediately. I don't know what to think about this team. Honestly, my realistic guess is 6-11. I think last year's playoff berth was a bit of an anomaly. I don't think that's realistic to expect this year. That was odd, to say the least. Just a very strange turn of events at the midway point of the season. That being said, let's get to the midseason point, see how this team's looking. Okay, so mid-season point, we are 3-4. Definitely hanging in there, not bad at all. Let's see who's ready to negotiate. And just 6 players whose contracts are up. We've got around $90 million in cap. The tough news is these are not all guys, mostly guys I would be very much interested in bringing back. Hawkinson looks like he's going to be pretty fair. If we send him a neutral deal, does he accept? He does. Okay, good. So TJ Hawkinson, he comes back on a fair deal. Cap hit's going to be around $10 million. DeAndre Swift, unfortunately, he's probably going to have to go. Same deal with Jonah Jackson, most likely. We might come back to him. Charles Harris, I'm not opposed to it. What would his cap hit be? Around $9 million, no thanks. We could do better than that in the draft. Even once free agency hits, maybe we go out and get ourselves like a Nick Bosa, like we did with the Panthers. Dean Lowry, same deal. Austin Johnson's a no. Okuda, no thanks. So yeah, we're in pretty good shape. $80 million, I'm not really interested a ton in bringing any of these guys back. Jonah Jackson's a possibility, but let's get to the playoffs. All right, and here we are at the playoffs. So as you can see, we go 8-9. Not bad at all for Stroud's first year. That's, roughly 500. It's pretty much what we expected. It's actually a little bit better, I think, than what I had hoped for. So let's look at the stats, see how everything went down. Okay, getting into the yearly stats, 12th offense, I think second year in a row performing at that level. Defense 24th, so similar year to last year, still some just growing pains. I mean, it's a complete rebuild. Stroud, he throws for 5,000 yards, 34 touchdowns, 22 picks. He was slinging it. A lot of interceptions. Hopeful he cleans up on that moving forward. Swift does not hit 1,000 yards on the ground. Again, just blaming the playbook. Does score 12 times. Jameson, almost 1,500 yards. He is a stud. 8 touchdowns. 1,100 for Amon-Ra with 9. Hawkinson over 1,000 yards. Josh Downs, the rookie, 800 yards and 5. Very nice for a rookie. Not bad at all. How did we do blocking? I'd have to imagine the sacks are decently up there. Not really. Penei Sewell, huge progression. I think he was around 20 last year. Just allows 4. Very nice. Defensively, how did we do? Leading tackler, Kaiser White, the free agent addition. Did we get any pass rush going? We did. Aiden Hutchinson with 12 sacks. And Nathan Pickering, the rookie, comes out of nowhere with 10.5, man. Let's go. Very nice. Not a whole lot else outside of that, but very encouraging. That guy we took second round was not expecting a whole lot. He does it. Greedy Williams, 3 picks, 3 for Jeff Okuda. Okay. Encouraging year. And here is your season recap. And if you've watched the NFL this year, you would be very surprised by these results. Colts are Super Bowl champions, 35-14. Matt Ryan is Super Bowl MVP. Interesting. Here are the yearly awards. So unfortunately, we don't get Offensive Rookie of the Year. Tyler Van Dyke wins it for the Packers. Okay. Nathan Pickering does get Defensive Rookie of the Year, though, so silver lining for us, and we're moving on to the offseason. Okay, so last chance to negotiate. We're now sitting with around $106 million in cap space. Absolutely insane. Jonah Jackson, if we give you a player-friendly deal, no, I don't even want to pay you that. I'm not giving you $15 million a year when you're being a little hater, crybaby. No. Outside of that, ranting aside, yeah, I'm good. I'm good on everyone. We're going to enter the offseason with a ton of cap space, franchise quarterback. Let's have some fun. And here is a look at the team heading into free agency. So big needs, I would say right guard, obviously. Running back, we don't really have anything there. Charbonnet, I forgot to put him in as the RB2. However, it doesn't matter because the RB1 doesn't even really produce. Wide receiver, I think we're okay. Everywhere else on the O-line is fine. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Defensively, look at this. Pickering gets up to superstar dev. Very nice. Very happy with that. Great rookie year. Unexpected. That being said, we have 2 spots on the line that need filled. We need a linebacker. We need some dogs in the secondary. So a lot of work to do. Hopefully the right guys are out there. So first wave of free agency. Here are our targets. I want to preface this by saying, just like our Panthers rebuild, Nick Bosa is available. But he's got no interest in us. We just went with him in a prior rebuild. As much as I would love to have him on the team, I want to switch it up a little bit. So we're trying to stick with guys who at least have some moderate interest in us, with the exception of Jalen Johnson. Starting with Yannick Ngakoue, fills an immediate need for us. Still a very good player. We're sending him a neutral deal. John Johnson, also sending him a neutral deal. He's lukewarm on us. I doubt we get him. The Panthers are paying a little bit more, but crazier things have happened. Next up, Jalen Johnson. We are sending him a player-friendly deal because he's a stud. We could snag him from Chicago. That would be a lot of fun. Grover Stewart, he would fill a good need for us, trying to get him in here on a 2-year deal. And A.J. Dillon, just to help him get some revenge against his former team. Always playing the 1B role to Aaron Jones. Come and be the guy for us. Who have we got here? So our signings, we bring in 3 of them. We do not get John Johnson. We get Yannick, Grover Stewart, and A.J. Dillon. Now, Jalen Johnson is still out there, and the Packers are pushing for him. So, let's see. We go player-friendly. Again, does this change anything for us at all? I really don't want the Packers to get him. Let's spend some staff points. And despite what I just said, we're just going to have to let Jalen Johnson make his own decision because the bonus for corners is all the way down here. This is going to cost me so many staff points that I could spend elsewhere. It's not worth it. If we get him, great. If not, fine, we'll figure it out. And just as something of an insurance policy, I'm not expecting Jalen Johnson to sign with us. Regardless, we're pretty thin at corner, so I'm going to send out offers to Steven Nelson and Christian Fulton. I'm thinking we can land at least one of these 3 guys in Steven Nelson. I wouldn't complain if we got all 3. Let's take a look here. They're all gone. Who'd we get? Just Steven Nelson. That's fine. We still have the draft ahead of us. That is perfectly okay with me. And here we are, already the 2024 NFL Draft. The Bears are first on the clock, so Justin Fields can't be playing that well. Do they move on from him? No. Still sticking around, they go with Niles Vance, left end out of LSU, and we are picking 8th? Who did we trade back with? I genuinely don't remember. I think it was the Raiders, actually, but yeah. Wow, okay, so we're picking 8th. Let's see who's on the board. So here's what I'm actually going to do. I'm not loving any of the top prospects on the board. I love picking up those future picks, especially with teams. You never know how they're going to perform. The Colts, yeah, they just won the Super Bowl, but can they do it again? Can they be great back-to-back with Matt Ryan, who's got to be 40 at this point? I don't think so. So we're going to take a first from them this year. We're going to move back quite a bit. However, we're picking up a first-round pick in next year's draft and a 7th this year. Let's do it. And with a move that big, who are they trading up to select? A defensive end. Okay, that makes sense. Jeremiah Gatewood out of Boise State. Love the name. Let's get to our pick, 32nd. Let's get there. So not an exciting selection by any means, but 32nd overall pick, you've got Jamie Myers here on the board, right guard out of Oregon. Look at his numbers. He's the fastest. He's the strongest. 39 reps on the bench. We're getting ourselves Quentin Nelson here at great value. Let's take him. He does have hidden depth. Not a surprise given those stats. 93 strength. This guy is a monster, going to help our offense in a major way. Back on the clock again, fairly soon after, we've got Joel Price here. I love the age, just 21 years old, went to Georgia. School produces a lot of defensive talent. A to C hit power, D man, I don't love that. B tackle, B to D zone. So he would fit our scheme. We do need a good zone safety, and look at the speed, 4.42. This is what I look for. I mean, the guy can jump. His vertical, 35.4, third best in the class. He's very agile with a 6.93 cone, a 4.14 20-yard shuttle. I think we could do a lot worse than Joel Price here early second. And he does have hidden dev as well. 91 speed, 89 excel. I think we got ourselves 2 instant starters here in this 2024 draft to start things off. And here is our 2nd round pick. Remember, the one that we just took, I believe, came from that trade with the Raiders, if I recall correctly. But we've got Jamie Watford here, 22 years old, out of East Carolina. B catching, C man, C press, C zone. He is the current best quarter, and what I really love about him is look at that speed. A 4.340 with 15 reps on the bench. This guy is an incredible athlete, a 37.4 vertical. I think this guy's got stud written all over him. Do we go 3 for 3 on hidden dev? We do not, but that is okay. A 95 speed corner, we're going to change that number. He's not wearing number 44, I can tell you that right now. But Jamie Watford, welcome to Detroit. Okay, so back on the clock, round 3, pick 13. We've got Montrell Harris here. We desperately need a linebacker. We're listed as a fit for him. He's best on the board, and he's got potential. That A to Z zone, A to C pursuit, B to D tackle, not bad. We know he's got C block shed, not terrible. He's not blazingly fast, but decent enough. He's a good enough athlete. I think he's worth a shot here. And he does have hidden dev. Okay. Honestly, I'm thrilled with the draft class so far. 87 speed, 89 excel. This guy's going to be moving. All right, and last pick of the draft before I let the CPU take over. We've got Bryson Brackens here. DT, we're still a little bit thin at. Grover Stewart is only around for 2 years, so let's take a look at this guy. He's a prospect, day 3 projected. He's the best left on the board. B block shed, B to D finesse, C power, C tackle. So nothing stands out as being terrible. And look at this. This is what we look for. 42 reps on the bench. This guy is a freak. Would not be surprised to see hidden dev. I'm hopeful. He does not, but 95 strength, man, we'll take it. And with that being said, there is your 2024 draft class. Let's skip to the end here, see how we did. Okay, and here is your draft recap. So looking at our first round pick, Jamie Myers coming into the league already 76 overall. Instant starter for us, going to do amazing things. Joel Price, the safety, also 76 overall. He should start right away. Jamie Watford, 75. So 3 straight guys, 75 plus. Montrell Harris will be 73. Probably still good enough to start given the state of our linebacking core. Bryson Brackens coming in at 73, should have plenty of time to develop behind Grover Stewart. And then here's who the CPU took. So no one really too exciting, just some guys to fill out the roster. But all in all, I think this is a fantastic draft class. All right, so here we are again, Week 1, 2024 season, coming in with an 82 overall team. I've got high hopes. I'm thinking playoffs. We've got an outside chance, but I think there's definitely a shot. Let's take a quick look at the roster. And again, the success of this team is going to be largely determined by the offense and CJ Stroud. Can he take a leap year 2, cut down on those turnovers? He performed very well as a rookie. We loved the 5,000 yards, threw enough touchdown passes. If we can get down to, let's say, 15 or under picks, I think this team definitely can win 9 or 10 games. You've got a really good right guard starting, hidden dev, already 77 right out of the gate. I've got a lot of high hopes for him. Defensively, a lot of young guys who I think if they step up, this team really could surprise people. You've got a starting safety, brand new, starting linebacker. You added Yannick in free agency. Pickering, I think can take a massive leap in year 2. I like what we have here. And here we are at the midseason point, 1-6. We are 1-6 right now. Interesting. I don't usually do this midseason point, but we got to look at the stats. How did we get here? So offensively, league average, 15th. Not good, not great. Defensively, we've actually stepped up a little bit, 20th. So I am surprised by the record. Has it just been close games? We're 27th in points scored. That's got to be it. 20th in points allowed. Man, that's not good at all. I got to look at the schedule. And I'm just going to count the number of one-score losses here just to see. I mean, it feels like we're coming close. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 one-score losses. So just the victim of close games. We have gotten blown out a couple times. I don't want to gloss over those. The Rams beat us pretty easily. The Cardinals destroyed us. That was back in week 2, though. So time to turn things around. Can we do it? Let's get to the playoffs. But first, let's see who wants to negotiate. And again, good news. We are going to enter the offseason with a boatload of money. Now, Penei Sewell is up. He hates us, so probably looking at the franchise tag for old Penei. Taylor Decker does like us. We'll get him back. Amon-Ra, yes, he will return. Rasul Douglas, probably not. Nate Davis, I think, will be back. Blake Gilkin, Darius Slayton. So a few guys we need to bring back, but we should still be entering the offseason with plenty of money to spare. And starting off negotiations, Taylor Decker, he wants a 2-year deal. I think that's fair. What do you mean you're not considering shorter-term deals? You put the deal on the table. I don't get you, Taylor Decker. Honestly, maybe we move on. He's going to start regressing. That's fine with me. Amon-Ra is a bit lukewarm on us. What does he want? He's just 24 years old. A cap hit of around $10 million if we give him a player-friendly deal. I'm happy with that. Yeah, so Amon-Ra is locked up long-term. That's great for us. Very reasonable contract, unlike you, Taylor Decker. And let's see who else we've got here. Nate Davis, he wants a 2-year deal, allegedly. We thought Taylor Decker wanted one. Nate Davis, he's a little bit younger. We're going to kind of spit in Taylor Decker's face, give him a player-friendly deal. Honestly, Taylor Decker can hit the market. I don't care. You don't want to be here, we don't want you. Penei Sewell, we're going to hold off on him. You know what? No, we're not. We are going to try and offer him, I mean, for a franchise right tackle, He's just 23. We go very player friendly. Just get him locked up long term. Okay, so you are being incredibly greedy, Penei Sewell. So you're going to get franchise tagged and you're going to like it. Aside from that, I think we're probably okay here. This team desperately needs a spark, though. We're 1-6. We just upgraded our players, so hopefully that helps. Hopefully we start pulling off some of those close games. Let's get to the playoffs here and see. I am hopeful. I had high hopes coming into the year. I was not expecting 1-6 to start the season by any means. This is shocking. It genuinely is. This is more surprising than year one when we made the playoffs, and that is saying a lot. So playoffs are almost here. Fingers crossed. I'm guessing 7-10. 7-10, final guess. What do we got? 5-12. Wow. Okay. And after we left things off, let's just count them up. Again, the one-score losses. 1. Okay, this is not going to be a fun game. Okay, so no, we got beaten pretty handily to close out the second half of the year. Some wins in there. We had a few good offensive games. Beat the Colts 41-38, defending champs, who I believe, if we recall correctly, don't we have their first-round pick? So maybe they turn things around a little bit in a negative way. That would be good. But yeah, man, 5-12. We got to get some pieces this offseason. We got to step things up. Now let's take a look at those year-end stats. Offense finished 16th, right around where they were. Defense 29th, so they actually got worse as the season progressed. CJ Stroud, again, 5,000 yards through the air, 32 touchdowns, 13 picks. I'm definitely not going to complain with that kind of season. I'm really not. I mean, just what's going on around him. A.J. Dillon, not a bad year on the ground. Similar numbers to what we were getting from Swift, 14 scores on the ground. Charbonnet picks up 7 in a relief role. Amon-Ra recently signed long-term, 1,300 yards, 13 scores. Almost 1,308 for Jameson, 905 for Slayton. That's bad news. I think the CPU screwed me. They put Josh Downs back down to not being a starter, so I got to get rid of Darius Slayton. I can't have him starting here. That makes me mad. I should have checked for that. That's on me, but Josh Downs should be getting starting reps here. That should immediately help things out. So we're just going to say he was hurt. That's our storyline. And Taylor Decker, Mr. I don't want to play for you under that deal. 18 sacks allowed. Yeah, have fun in Jacksonville or wherever you decide to go in free agency. Good riddance, Taylor Decker. Tackles, Kaiser White led the team with 136. Sacks, how did we do? We got 10 out of Aiden Hutchinson, 9 from Yannick. Pickering, a bit of a decline with 5.5, and 5 from Grover Stewart. That's to be expected with how this defense performed. Not a whole lot of interceptions. Not a whole lot at all. 2 from the rookie, Joel Price. Not bad. He probably got some votes for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm going to guess he didn't win it, but that's okay. Let's get to the offseason. And here is your season recap. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, world champions over the Cleveland Browns. No one would have guessed this Super Bowl MVP. Chris Harris Jr., who would have thought? How's he still in the league at this point in 2024? Very surprising. Here are your yearly awards. Josh Allen is MVP, and we are moving on to the offseason. Okay, last chance to negotiate. So Penei Sewell, here is what we are going to do for you, good sir. You didn't like our 6-year deal with a value of $93 million. So how about this? How about a 7-year deal where your salary is, we'll say $6 million and a bonus of 2. How about that? How do you feel about that, Penei? Thanks for the offer. Just not interested in signing. That's okay. It was close. So that being said, Penei, since you don't like that deal, how does the franchise tag sound? Pretty good, I bet. Yeah, it sucks to suck. Taylor Decker, speaking of sucks to suck, goodbye. Rasul Douglas, Greedy Williams, thank you for your service, but it's just not going to work out. Everyone else, we don't care. We're moving on. And I want to apologize, both to you as the viewer and to Taylor Decker. I don't know why I was so aggressive to Taylor Decker. He had interest in us all along. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was so frustrated by Penei Sewell that I accidentally took it out on Taylor Decker. So hopefully he's feeling graceful and willing to come back. Now, the free agent class, it's bad this year. We're sending a very player-friendly offer to Jeremy Chinn because we desperately need playmakers, and we're still just not even in the hunt for him. Maybe we get lucky. You never know. Dante Jackson, we're going to try and pick him up. Taylor Decker, of course. Eric Stokes, we're in the hunt. I don't know about him. And J.C. Horn. So I don't love it, but let's see who we can get, if anyone. JC is still out there. All we got is Dante Jackson. Oh my gosh. Okay, so just throwing a few more out there. How funny would this be? We signed A.J. Dillon, then 1 year later bring in Aaron Jones. The Packers want him back. I doubt we get him. J.C. Horn we're most likely out on. And we're going to throw an offer to Ronnie Harrison since we didn't get our original target. Let's see if any of these guys come on over. We get Dante Jackson and Ronnie Harrison Jr. So if you're a Lions fan, I sincerely apologize. This offseason is not a good one. We got to hit on our draft picks, bottom line. And finally, one more deal just to kind of round out our secondary. It's just kind of been a shuffling every single year in free agency. We have not found any long-term standout players. We're going to get Levi Wallace in here. So just gives us another piece there. Now let's get to the draft and hope for the best. And already here we are, 2025 NFL Draft. We're picking 3rd overall? That's surely, I don't think that's our pick, unless the Colts were that bad. I don't know, is 5 and 12 enough to get number 3? The Steelers are picking first. I feel like this is not their first time having that selection. Who do they go with? They are taking a quarterback, so the Kenny Pickett era is over. The Niners, just one pick ahead of us, they are going with a left tackle, Tyrone Adkins. So, yeah, let's see who we get here. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Number 3 overall. We desperately need a left tackle. I screwed up on the Taylor Decker situation. I'm willing to admit that I made a big mistake. I should have brought him back when I could have. I didn't. That's okay. It's time to correct that. He was getting up there in age anyways. And I know Robert Connor is a right tackle, but he is by far the best prospect in the class. A to C awareness, A to C impact, A to C, pass block, and B, run block. Just 21 years old, 38 reps on the bench, technically the fastest in the class, elite in every single category. We either move him to left tackle or we move Panay over there. But either way, we have ourselves a tackle. He does have hidden dev, 90 strength, love that. Great pick for us, number 3 overall. And that must have been our pick because the next time we're on the clock is number 30. I'm going to assume that's the Colts selection. They must have been very good again. That's okay. Now here is going to be an interesting selection. Round 1, pick 30. We've got James Stockton. He's projected rounds 2 to 3, so it would be a little bit of a reach here, but hear me out. Just 21 years old, out of Alabama. They're known for producing defensive talent. B to D block shed, B to D pursuit, B tackle, B to D zone. So high upside, high downside. So a very risky player, but he's very athletic. Best jumper in the class, 33.8 vertical. He's very agile, and we could move him. I know we have Edmonds in the middle. I know we took a linebacker outside fairly early last year, but they just performed so poorly. We got to get something going here. So James Stockton, please don't disappoint me. He doesn't. He's got hidden dev, so fingers crossed we can stick him in there and immediately get an impact player on our defense. Okay, so round 2, pick 3. And I know I've gone a little off kilter this draft, but this is going to be the 3rd guy where I'm thinking we can probably move him around a little bit. Peter Branch, he's got A hit power. Imagine him at strong safety. A to C tackle. Sure, he's got D man, B to D zone. But, I mean, the A hit power is enticing. He is fast. He's strong. He can jump. I like this guy. Round 2, pick 3, give me hidden dev. No, they do not. It's normal dev, but that's okay. 91 speed, 91 excel. We're going to move him over and start him right away. I'm hopeful he can do great things for us. We'll find out. Okay, round 3, pick 3. I'm just not loving what's on the board. I'm going to be completely honest. So we're going to take this offer from Seattle. We will get a 2nd round pick in next year's draft, which will be our last draft of the series. And with that being said, I am fairly content with how this draft played out. I definitely have some optimism for it. Let's get to the end of the draft, get to that recap, see who the CPU took for us. Maybe they found us some late round gems. Let's hope so. And here is the draft recap. So all in all, a very nice class. We hit on all 3 of our first picks. Robert Connor coming in 75 overall. We will probably move him to the left side. Either that or Panay's moving over. Have not decided yet. James Stockton should start for us right away at outside linebacker. Peter Branch, we're going to move him to strong safety, give him the start. And then the CPU, they just took a couple late round guys for us. That's fine. We're not concerned. Moving on. And here we are again, 2025, week 1. It's an 84 overall team. Let's take a look at the roster, see how we're feeling heading into week 1. And this has been an interesting rebuild, to say the least. Just with how free agency has worked out, this team has been built much more heavily through the draft than through free agency, which I don't necessarily mind as long as it works out. We really need a big season from a lot of these guys. So Panay, we did move him to left tackle. He's a 90 overall there. So Connor, 3rd overall pick, will get the start at right tackle, his natural position. Keep him comfortable as he gets acclimated to the NFL. Stroud, can he take a big step forward this year? Finally show why we traded up for him and really elevate this team. The receiving core is good. Dylan is up to an 85 overall. I like what we have here. Offensively, there's no reason this team can't score a lot of points. Defensively, Grover Stewart's going to take a back seat. Bracken's the second-year player. He had to wait on the bench, but he's getting the start this year. Can he make the most of it? Hutchinson, can he get us 15-plus sacks? In the linebacking core, Stockton is going to step in because Harris was a bit of a disappointment for us as a rookie. So Stockton is going to get the start there with his hidden depth. Peter Branch is going to jump over Deshaun Elliott and Ronnie Harrison, the free agent addition. He is going to be our starting strong safety, moving over from his natural free safety position. We made some moves in the secondary. Will they pay off? Price coming into his second year. 83 overall. Can he take a next step? We need a lot of big steps from a lot of these guys. Let's get to the midseason point, see how we're feeling then. Okay, so look at this. Midseason point 4-3. Finally, we are meeting expectations. That is amazing. Let's look and see who's ready to negotiate. And again, entering the offseason with a boatload of cash. Unfortunately, a lot of it's going to have to go to bringing back some of these guys. I am a little bit upset. Usually it gives me the ability to pick up their 5th-year option. It didn't for whatever reason. So we're just going to play it safe here. We don't want anyone leaving us. We're going to be heading into the final year of the rebuild. Player-friendly deals for all. It's still going to leave us with plenty of money to spend. Even after bringing back Jamison Williams and Aiden Hutchinson, we still have around $90 million in cap space. Penei Sewell still wants nothing to do with us, but he's going to get franchise tagged. That's fine. Kaiser White is probably not coming back. Grover Stewart, definitely not. So yeah, I would say all in all, we're in decent shape. Let's get to the playoffs. Fingers crossed, I don't know that we make it. I'm hopeful, but we will see. Okay, playoffs are here. We have our first real playoff berth of the series. We go 10-7. Not quite good enough to win the North. Unfortunately, Packers still run things. Aaron Rodgers or not, we can't get past them. But we're happy with this. We get a playoff game. We got to go to Los Angeles. Let's look at the stats. So we end up with the number 6 offense in the NFL. Huge step forward. Number 20th defense. So not good, but good enough for the playoffs. 3rd in points scored. Points allowed, we came in 24th. Okay, let's look at the individual stats. CJ Stroud, again, over 5,000 yards. I believe he has topped this every year in the league. So who said Ohio State quarterbacks can't play? 46 touchdowns, 10 picks. I think by far the best year of his career so far. In the run game, you've got A.J. Dillon topping 1,000 yards for the first time. 12 touchdowns, very nice. Receiving game, Amon-Ra, 1,600 yards with 19 scores, man. Jamison, 1,200 nearly with 4 touchdowns. 1,000 for Josh Downs, 7 touchdowns. 832 and 7 for Hawkinson. Very nice. How did our new right tackle do? I'm hoping pretty well. He lets up 12 sacks. Not bad for a rookie. 11 for Panay, moving over to left tackle. We appreciate his resilience there. 118 tackles for Tremaine Edmonds on overall a disappointing defense. Sacks were pathetic. Nathan Pickering leads the team with 7. Yannick gets 6.5 and 6 for Aiden Hutchinson. Yuck. Why did we pay you? Interceptions, Tremaine Edmonds with 4, Dante Jackson with 3, 2 for Jamie Watford. Okay, so hopefully free agency is kind to us. Hopefully we can get some big names for our final year. But first, let's get to our playoff game. And here they are, the Los Angeles Rams. We actually have a better overall team than them on paper. Can you believe that? I mean, in real life, how sustainable is what the Rams have done the past few years, just loading up on talent? It worked for them. It got them a Super Bowl, but, 2-3 years from now, Jalen Ramsey, I would have to imagine, will probably be on another team. Just guessing. Aaron Donald will probably be retired. Even Stafford could be gone. You never know. The league moves fast. And we do lose the playoff game 31-10. We're moving on to the offseason, unfortunately. And here you have it. It was not particularly close. Let's find our game here. 31-10 versus Detroit. We put up 290 yards of total offense. Not good at all. They've got a new quarterback, Josh Gardner, who looks creepy to say the least. CJ Stroud, he gets sacked 5 times, so Aaron Donald must still be around, or the ghost of him, either or. In the run game, we get nothing going. I mean, CJ Stroud is our leading rusher with 13, bro. That's crazy. Cooper Kupp has a big game. Jameson Williams scores. Not a whole lot else going on. Penei Sewell lets up 2 sacks. The rest of the offensive line was offensive. Dante Jackson is our leading tackler with 9 sacks. Yep, there's Aaron Donald with 2. Byron Young has 1. Kenny Young, they've got 2 Youngs out there. Yannick and Aiden each getting sacks after disappointing in the regular season. Interceptions, Ronnie Harrison picks up 1, and there you have it. Here is your season recap. The Chargers are Super Bowl champions. You do not see that often in Sim, but the Chargers win it all. Joey Bosa, Super Bowl MVP. Good for him. Josh Allen is your regular season MVP. There's a quick look at your yearly awards. Very nice. Josh Gardner, the quarterback who took us down in the playoffs, wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. Cooper Kupp wins Offensive Player of the Year. Did notice that, so good for him. And we're moving on again. Okay, and this is it. Year 5, last chance for us to make a run. Who do we need to bring back? Absolutely nobody outside of Penei Sewell, who we already know is not going to want anything to do with a fair offer, because if there's one thing Penei Sewell knows, it's being difficult. So we are going to franchise tag him. How much is this going to cost us? $23.5 million, well worth it. So Penei, I hope you enjoy Detroit as much as we enjoy having you. Okay, so free agency is here, and it is as I feared. The class is not good, especially not when it comes to what we're looking for. Specifically, I would say secondary help. So we're going to get our punter and our kicker back. We're going to get that taken care of. George Pickens would be fun, so a bit of a luxury pick for us. We're in the hunt. I'm not going to overpay for him. Not the end of the world if we don't get him. Jordan Davis, we are going all in for him. I think he would make a big difference for us. And Trent Brown, just because Penei Sewell has been so finicky for us, and it would give us some good depth. We've got the money. Let's see if we can get any of these guys in here. So Harrison Butker is holding out for some reason. We do get A.J. Cole, George Pickens, and Trent Brown. Okay. So can we get Butker in here? What we're going to do at this stage of the video, if you haven't watched mine in the past, this is when we go very heavy on trades. We're going to go and get ourselves some veterans. We are making a final Super Bowl push. And starting off our trade bonanza, we need 2 things on this defense. We need leadership and we need turnovers. And who better to provide that than Shaq Leonard? We get him from the Colts. It's a steep price and honestly well-deserved. One of my all-time favorite players. The guy is just an absolute monster. A first-round pick, a third-round pick, and a future third. And Shaq Leonard is joining the Detroit Lions. Next up on our list, we desperately need a playmaker in the secondary. It's expensive. It takes 3 second-round picks, 2 this year, 1 next year, but Marlon Humphrey is now also a Detroit Lion, bolstering that defense along with Shaq Leonard. Now here is where we stand with draft picks. 2026, we've got a 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to let the CPU play around with those. After the draft, we'll have access to our 2027 and 2028 draft picks. We're going to make some more trades, so let's get to that. Okay, now we do have a 5th-year option here. So CJ Stroud, yes, we are going to be picking up that option. Not that we care a whole lot because we know this is our last season, but yes, CJ Stroud, well worth the 5th-year option. Glad they gave it to us this time. And the draft is over. We were not active at all in the draft. 2026, let's see if the CPU got us anyone interesting. I doubt it. Let's see, though. Starting in the 4th round, yeah, nothing really. They did get us a 70 overall receiver who's not going to see the field at all, so moving on. Okay, and potentially one of our very last moves. An obvious overpay, but that's okay. Aaron Donald, 35 years old. We don't care. We want him. We're going to help the Rams start preparing for life without him once he retires here shortly. We are sending them a 1st and a future 1st, and this should help our pass rush in a major way. Fingers crossed. Okay, one more move here, a clear overpay, but we had to do it. We need the depth at DT. DJ Reader, he should come up to an 83, 84 overall in our scheme. It's going to take a fourth and a future second, but that should round out our championship run defense, hopefully. And here we go. Week 1, last chance. Can we get to the Super Bowl? Heck, can we even win a playoff game? Let's find out. CJ Stroud, they gave him X Factor. He's an 89 overall. He's got a deep receiving core. If George Pickens is your wide receiver 3, you're in good shape. No reason you can't excel here. Trent Brown, it appears, is going to start at right tackle. That's fine. If he outperforms Connor, that's okay with me. I don't care. We're just going for wins at this point. The line is good. It's a good team. Defensively, we have upgraded. Pickering, he is an X factor as well. You've got Aaron Donald and Aiden Hutchinson on the edge. Reader is going to start here, so outstanding there. Stockton, the second-year player, hopefully he can excel alongside Edmonds and Shaq Leonard. In the secondary, I wish we had made a move for safety. That is my one regret. That is the one thing that may come back to bite me, but nothing we can do about it now. We've added Marlon Humphrey to the secondary. Hopefully we can get some turnovers there with him and Dante Jackson. Enough said. Let's get to the midseason point and let's hope for the best. Okay, and here we are at the midseason point. 5-2. Looks like we've got a matchup with the 6-1 Bears, man. Yikes. The NFC North is tough this year. Don't love to see that. However, coming off a big 35-27 victory against the Cowboys, always love to see victories over the Cowboys in Sim. That means you're doing something right. So, we're in a good spot here. And I did say I wanted a safety, so we're going to make a trade deadline move here. The Patriots could use help at receiver. We're going to send them downs because we're fine there. We have Pickens and a 5th-round pick, and we're getting Kyle Duggar. Hopefully round us out. Hopefully end the year strong. Hopefully an NFC North title, but let's find out. And oh my gosh, bro, I cannot believe it. We go 15-2, undefeated down the stretch, #1 seed in the conference. Absolute insanity. Wow. And here are your stats. It's a top 5 offense, 5th in the league, and defense, we finished 1st. Best defense in the NFL. What a step up from the previous 4 years, man. Incredible. CJ Stroud, 5,100 yards, 44 touchdowns, 13 picks. He's been great for us. Over 5,000 every year. A.J. Dillon has improved every single season. 1,200 yards and 14 scores. Jameson, 1,412. Amon-Ra, 1,317. George Pickens, almost 1,000 yards with 8 touchdowns. Hawkinson has been somewhat quiet, but that's forgivable. In the sacks department, not bad at all. Trent Brown only lets up 8. Defensively, how did we do? 111 for Shaq Leonard. How did we do on sacks? We had 21.5 from the GOAT, Aaron Donald, 13.5 from Pickering, 11 from Aiden Hutchinson, 5 from Dio Odengbo. I guess the CPU picked him up. Interesting. Okay. Not complaining. 5 picks from Marlon Humphrey and 5 from Shaq Leonard. So our 2 trade additions result in 10 interceptions, exactly what we were looking for. Here are your yearly awards. Clay Joyce is MVP, quarterback of the Chargers. CJ Stroud gets some votes. We win Coach of the Year. Go Dan Campbell. Very last year, he gets it. Let's just look at the winners here. Did we get any winners? Nick Bosa. Aaron Donald comes in second. We're not going to have any rookies. Best quarterback, surprising. Stroud should be a little bit higher, in my opinion. Anyone else here? No, not really seeing anyone. That's okay. Moving on, we are in the playoffs. We got the 1 seed. Let's get to the divisional round. And look who it is, the Chicago Bears. Divisional rivalry, they come in 9-8. Can they get the huge upset? Can we move on and get our first playoff win of the series? Let's find out. They beat us. 31-24. We're going to end the series without a playoff win. I genuinely am in shock. A 90 overall team, we can't get it done. How does this happen? We got to get into the schedule. Absolutely ridiculous, man. All that work. 15-2. Dominant regular season. #1 defense. You let Justin Herbert... Okay, fair enough. I guess it's Justin Herbert, but still, man. Stroud did what he could. He got sacked 4 times. A.J. Dillon did A.J. Dillon things. Darnell Mooney scored twice on our secondary. Pickens found the end zone. So did Cole Kmet. Oh my goodness. Frank Ragnow lets up 3 sacks, man. What a joke. Leonard gets 10 tackles. I don't think we really got any sacks. Well, we did. 2 from Aaron Donald. He's got to be upset. Man, what a bummer. No interceptions in the game. That's it, man. That's the series. And here is your season recap. The Chiefs are world champs yet again. Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP. Have the Chiefs won a Super Bowl in this sim so far? They did in the very beginning, 2022. So Pat Mahomes, now a 3-time world champ. Here's a quick look at your yearly awards. And that's going to do it. So unfortunately, that's just the way these rebuilds go sometimes. The Detroit Lions, they were a tough one. The free agents weren't falling to us. We couldn't really sign anybody. We lost out on some of the guys we were bidding on. It was just tough. The secondary, we could never quite find an answer at the corner or the safety positions. The offense was just always good, not great. So, yeah, man, disappointment, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done differently? Have you tried rebuilding the Lions in franchise? Have you found success? What do you do that I didn't? And I will see you guys in the next video for a hopefully more successful rebuild. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.